can taste your words. I can taste your.
Welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast. I'm Brandy, plant-based chef.
And I'm Vonanise, plant-based adjacent.
On this podcast, we explore thought-provoking conversations around food
And simple ways to stay healthy in this crazy world.
Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, Brandy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm really good.
Yeah, so listen, we're doing this non-dairy challenge that you already know about, and people are already telling us the things that they're not going to be giving up. Like,
No, all they think of depravity. Don't deprive me of my food. You know?
it's 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days, right?
That's true. But when I think dairy-free, I'm definitely like, I have to give up cheesecake, you know?
Yeah, but there's some really...
I don't eat cheesecake in 30 days. I could go 6 months without cheesecake.
Right, it's such a rare thing.
Yeah, but if I want it, I know that that's like a dairy classic. Like there's no, you know.
Yeah, but there've been some good non-dairy cheesecakes. I mean, I even know someone who actually was a hardcore cheesecake fan, dairy lover, and found support, so to say, from this support from this white bean non-dairy version of a cheesecake, which makes sense, you know, like bean pies that they used to.
Yeah, I liked those when I was in college. Someone used to sell it around Howard,
a
Muslim guy, and I really like those. You know, those delicious.
Yeah, bean pies are great. I have a friend who makes one with a graham cracker. No, wrong, a gingerbread crust. So
Good.
Yummy.
But when they say bean pies, I didn't realize it was actual beans in it. Like, you know, Martin used to make fun of it. I didn't realize it. But then when you eat it and you're like, this is delicious, you know?
Yeah, because, you know, that brings up the whole concept of, like, as I'm always quoting, flavor profile and texture, right? We always have this thought process of what we're used to eating, but if you literally take food and build in the flavor profile to those textures that we're after, you can create some things that are pretty yummy. They're not always going to be one-to-one. Like, I never like to sell, like, oh, this black bean burger is going to taste just like that beef burger that you love so much. Not necessarily, but it's going to taste good. It's going to have good textures, and you're not going to necessarily whine about the fact that you're not eating a cow.
I will say that. I mean, we need to tell people about how we met. We went out for our first meeting.
Yes.
And we went to like this cute little coffee shop, and they had vegan options and vegan and chai that was really good, and Brandy liked it. And I got some of the food there, and it was delicious. Then her and I did an event together, and at that event, Brandy made lemon squares.
Oh,
and Vonanise McCoy and I said, she has to be my friend forever. You understand? We were like on the slow path from work friends to acquaintance, and I tasted the lemon squares she got in my stomach. They were so delicious. I started stalking this girl. Every time I saw her, I was like, where's lemon squares? Where's lemon squares? Like, why are you playing? Where's lemon squares? You understand? Because they were so good, and they didn't have any dairy in them. And so then I was like, that sort of like opens me up even more. Like, you really, because I'm like a sweets person, you really could go down this path and be dairy free and have yummy foods that are not, you know, that don't have milk and cheese and all that stuff in it. Because just the thought of a cake without milk in it to some people, or without an egg in it, people think you can't do that. You've not tasted Brandy's lemon squares.
Yeah, and also, God, thank you.
That I stalk her for.
Yes. And it may be available soon at a cafe near me, but we'll talk about that when it's finalized. But a lot of times we're thinking about food, like especially like baking, it's all about science, right? So as long as you can find an ingredient that serves the purpose of that dairy product or serves the purpose of that egg, you usually can replace it and get the exact same outcome. Like literally, a flax egg will do what a regular egg does in some recipes. Right now, you can't scramble a flax egg. No, that's not going to work. But you could totally throw it into a batter and use the science of that gelatinous kind of texture that it forms to make a cake that's pretty similar to something that you want to have. Remember, once it's baked, all we needed to do is what? We needed to bake up, get airy, have the bounce, the spring, and you figure out how to do that. Just the same way that you would do when you're using when you're using traditional foods, right? There's some people who believe in cooking with the whole egg. Some people believe in only the egg only the egg yolk. Some people believe in only the egg whites, right? Some people have a baking soda versus baking powder when they're making their cookies. Some people believe in blending a little baking powder, a little bit of baking soda. That all comes down to the science and the end product texture that you're after. So if you start to think, how do I create these same outcomes using not an egg or not a milk? It's all science, and that's why you can get something like a bean pie and be like, "What, beans are in bean pie? I can't believe that."
Yeah, those need to be available everywhere.
You want to start still selling bean pies? I haven't seen a Muslim sell.
They need to sell them. They need to be available in my grocer's freezer, where I go get me a nice Allah salam alaikum bean pie because they're delicious. Okay,
maybe we should try to partner with the Nation of Islam, see if we could, get them into the freezer, get an Easy Answer podcast.
Because it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Once you've had a bean pie, like the guy who's like, he sells in the newspaper, and he also has, I'm always like, you got any bean pies? He's like, no, I ain't got it. Because he sold them all out on 125th Street. He sold them all out. Okay.
So they still around.
But he sells them all out right away. So why don't they know this is a good business plan? Let's just
they don't have any waste. I love that. I love that. Cool.
Love it.
So we have, like we said, our 30-day non-dairy challenge. We are talking to people about their experiences with dairy, and today we have Cynthia who's joining us. We're going to bring her to the conversation and have her introduce herself. Hey Cynthia, welcome to the Easy Answer podcast.
Hi ladies, how are you?
Hello Cynthia.
Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Vonda's like, but where are the bean pies? I would like to understand.
Yes, they're so delicious. Why can't I have a bean pie all the time? Okay.
She is like, listen, these supermarkets need to get on board or something because
yes, they do. Okay.
I want to know why your dude is not saving them. So when you see him he should have like that spare one. He's
always trying to sell me the final call, and I'm like, listen, I don't know about that, but I know about that bean pie.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. When he sees you, he should be like, sis, I saved one for you right here. I knew you was coming today.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. So Cynthia, we are we're having a 30-day non-dairy challenge, and we want to talk to people about their experience with dairy. So let's just open up the conversation with like, what are your thoughts on dairy?
First, my thoughts on dairy is yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yes. I love dairy.
Yes.
When it comes, and it really kind of depends on what you're doing, how you're using it, your personal experiences with flavor and health. For me, those are the important things when it comes to my experience with dairy.
So you don't have any lactose issues. You're not lactose intolerant or lactose sensitive.
Correct. And because I'm not lactose sensitive, I feel like I should go ahead and indulge.
Okay.
I mean, your
joints. We don't know what's going on with your joints.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
And it creates inflammation in your body.
It does. But like most food experiences or pleasurable food experiences, you don't overdo it. There are things that I absolutely love that have dairy in them that, I love them a lot, but I don't eat them every single day. I like the experience of craving them. Or when I make a specific dish, that would go perfect with that dish and that experience. I have given up dairy. I gave up dairy for a year once.
Oh, how was it? How was that year? Tell us all about it. Why you willing to do it for just 30 days?
That year, you know what? Because, I'm a Virgo, and you know how we think. We like to analyze stuff and try stuff out. Um, I think I don't. It was in my 20s, and I saw some members in my family who were suffering with their health because of overindulgence of not just dairy, but just of a lot of things.
Okay.
And in my young head, I was like, listen, I would never want to be told by a doctor that I have to give something up. So let me voluntarily give something up and see what would happen. You know,
Okay.
let me. I don't want that choice taken from me. Let me just make the choice myself and see if I have that discipline to stop it for a while.
I like
So
the way your brain works.
thank you. Thank you. I do too. I'm still trying to get my family on board, but you know. So I stopped dairy for a complete year. And I actually at the time I'd moved to Savannah, Georgia. So it actually kind of made it easy because I come from a family that loves to cook. Uh, I love to cook, and you know, the place that I lived near had like fresh blueberry muffins every morning that didn't have dairy in it, and I loved tea. I love just hot water, lemon, and honey. And there was a place that they had jars of honey about this big that were like $8
Oh my God.
right out of the hive. And like I bought like 12 of them thinking that they would go for. I had those babies for like maybe 3 or 4 years. I didn't know it was going to take that long to get rid of them, but like I kind of just went with things that I really like the taste of. So every morning I had the fresh blueberry muffin that didn't have dairy in it. I had my tea. I used to have fresh tomato soup with another fresh bread. I loved plums. I love fruit. So
Yeah.
there was fruit. If I had to go past the fast food joint, there was Wendy's chicken salad. At the time back then, that was the bomb. That's when they had that bread that everybody couldn't like live without. So intentionally, I didn't make a lot of stuff with dairy. I really didn't eat dairy. If there was some dairy interjected by way of eating some bread or something, it didn't bother me. I wasn't very that strict with it. But I gave it up for a year. It really didn't make a huge difference to me because I was still eating things that I really loved, and my flavor experiences and my health experiences were top notch.
Oh wow.
Um, and by that I mean, um, again, like back then when everyone was telling people holistic was kind of new to people, and they were saying, "Oh, you shouldn't eat white bread, and you shouldn't eat white rice and white flour and bleach this and
White,
bleach
white, 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 white.
white,
Yes.
white, get rid of the YT, white." So,
Yeah.
so I gave up white rice for brown rice, and then I gave up brown rice for barley. I started making this barley. I would roast chicken and then take the broth off the chicken and make the barley, and it was so delicious. And
Okay.
then my blood pressure spiked and sent me to the hospital.
Wow.
So I had an excellent flavor experience, but my health experience with this natural, wonderful, healthy ingredient was not what I desired. And we couldn't figure out for a while what it was, but it turned out to be barley. And even now to this day, when I have like a health reaction to something, if I call my doctor goes, "Cynthia, just tell me what you changed. You're real simple. Tell me what you did different." And the thing that I had done different back then was that I switched to barley. And she asked a real simple question. She said, "Did you have any reactions like this with white rice?" And I was just like, "No." She said, "Did it ever make you sick?" And I was like, "No." So that experience with flavor was excellent. With my health was not good. And now I ask myself those questions for anything, but with dairy as well. Did it bother me? Did it make me sick? Did it send me to the hospital? Did it taste good? Usually taste is the first question, by the way.
Yes.
Did it taste good? So my mind is always about, was it a good flavor experience as well as a good health experience? And if I'm overindulging and literally making my body sick because that's all I eat, that's my responsibility, and we already know better.
Yes.
But that year without it, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And then I moved back home, and my best friend, who was a pastry chef, like our families grew up cooking my dad was a chef, so clearly I love food. It's about food and food experiences. She made a big pan of macaroni and cheese, and it was a wrap. So so I made it through the year without any problems because I was
Mac and cheese is a hard one.
It is. It's the hardest one.
Well, and you know what it was? It was the experience and the familiarity of the experience. Because when I was in Savannah, I was around new people. I really didn't know their cooking. You know, I cooked for myself, and I made a decision to give up dairy. And it wasn't hard because I was like, this decision is mine, and I want to be able to make my choices. When I came home, and you remember that when you get together with your friends and you know the one that cooks the real good, like you said, when it comes to those lemon tarts, Vaughn. What about the lemon cookies? Have you had Brandy's lemon cookies? Okay. Yeah. And Brandy knows because after the first time she made the lemon cookies for me, the next time she came to my house, I was only cracking the door open a little bit. I was like, but where's the cookies? But
I know. I'm talking to this poor girl about some lemon squares.
Yeah, I was like, that's the price of admission into my house. Where's the cookies? Like, I only have I was just like this. I was like, I don't understand. I don't see no cookies in your hand. Hold up the bag. Like,
so exploit me for my lemon cooking abilities.
Well, you said that when you gave it up, it was when you were in your 20s. Now we're grown, we're in our 30s and above. Right. So I mean, we drink coffee on a daily basis. Like my sister said to me, I could do a dairy-free challenge, but the only dairy I need is half and half in my coffee. I was like, sweetie, so you can't do it.
I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee at all because I don't have good health experiences with coffee.
Okay.
I drank coffee for the first time when I was in college, and everybody thought that somebody had spiked me with some crack. So, and like I was bouncing off walls. I didn't sleep for days. Like they were like, we have to get her to we didn't understand what was going on. And it turned out that I don't metabolize caffeine very well.
Okay.
And it was the first time that we kind of realized it, because the other thing about the foods that we eat is our intuition for what we choose to eat. Like intuitively, from the time that I was a child, I didn't like anything with caffeine in it. I only drank ginger ale. I wasn't big on a whole lot of chocolate, so sometimes the way we eat and the things we eat can be intuitive. And if you're craving that cheese, what is your body trying to tell you? Because sometimes I crave just fresh baked Italian bread and, cheese in it with some fresh actual butter. Like I have a craving. It's a comfort thing. But it doesn't make me sick. It doesn't bother me. It's a pleasurable food experience. And I don't eat it every day.
Okay.
So
you're like, I don't know about giving up dairy for 30 days.
I'm for 30 days. Well, I've already done it. And sometimes we do it involuntarily because the first time I had a friend who had to stay with me for a while. And this is when the new conversation started around plant-based eating. And I heard the word plant-based eating and no one could explain it to me. I was like, what is plant-based? And it was just like, well, it's just plant-based eating. And I'm like, well, thank you for that explanation. I understand completely now.
People repeat the word in the definition of it.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, does this mean I have to eat, grass like cows, or, do I just go around picking plants from my windowsill and just be satisfied? What does it mean? And until one day, I went shopping and I brought back my groceries, and she said, oh, wow. She said, 80% of the food that you buy is plant-based. And I was like, oh, now we can have a conversation because we have found a leeway for me to understand what you mean. And so the way that I shop, I really don't buy a lot of dairy as it is. I don't keep dairy, and I don't keep ice cream as much as I love it. I don't keep ice cream in my freezer. When I crave ice cream, I go for it. And that's the end of that. If I crave a cannoli, if I pass a nice Italian shop that has cannolis, y'all, I like cannolis. If anybody who's listening, cannolis are the bomb. So,
especially in New York.
Especially in New York. If I crave, I don't eat cheesecake often, but for some reason, I love the vanilla bean cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory. So if I'm craving the vanilla bean cheesecake or the Oreo, now that my brother I tasted the Oreo cheesecake, and I'm like, okay, I could use a couple of those. I go for it. And if somebody that I know is coming to my house and they're in that area, and I go, bring me a slice of the vanilla bean, one of the cherry, one of the douce, the less, I'll end up with like a whole cake with with different ones, and then I'm done. I might not have cheesecake again for a year. I might not have. You know what? I can't even remember the last time I've had whole milk consciously. Consciously had whole milk. When we go out to eat to restaurants, we don't know what has dairy in it unless we're saying, I'll have the fettuccine Alfredo. When we order some food, well, except for Brandy. Brandy
don't play.
Vaughn, we will discuss. We
don't go out and just let people give us food now. Okay.
I always
let people give us food in their restaurants now.
Yes, their restaurant, their rules. We can't let them do such a thing. Nope. And so I prepare when I go out with Brandy and have a snack beforehand, because when we get there, and usually I try to whoever the wait staff is, and I go, listen. Can I just order my food and you put it in, and then come back and take her order? Because she's going to ask you 4,000 questions about what's in the food, which I don't mind. We love and accept our friends. And, I love Brandy for it. But if I'm going to eat and not get hangry, to protect the innocent, wherever we might go to eat, I either have to snack a little bit before I meet her, or I'll get there before her and go, listen, yes, look, can I put my order in? And my friend is going to join us in about 10 minutes,
So Cynthia, your thing is that you're not giving up mac and cheese or cheesecake.
I'm not giving up mac and cheese. I'm not giving up cheesecake. I'm not giving up ice cream. I'm not giving
They
up.
have non-dairy ice cream. Have you tasted non-dairy ice cream?
I was about to add that I am not giving up any dairy experience that I like unless it affects my health and says it's about to take you out instantly. If it's not going to kill me on site.
So you cool passing out and then right.
Like Brandy said, getting the gout.
Listen, if it's not sitting in the refrigerated area talking about, yep, it's on site when we see her. We gonna kill her the moment we touch her taste buds. It's over.
You are funny.
I'm just being real. If it's not going to kill me on site and I don't overindulge, I'm not giving it up. However, I will not deny myself any non-dairy experiences. I've had non-dairy ice cream. The coconut is usually the best because it tastes closest to its natural flavor.
Yes, delicious.
Right. So I've had coconut with caramel. I've had a few others.
The cashew base too. Just if anybody's interested in exploring, the cashew based ones and the coconut based ones, because of the fat ones, tend to have a really close mouthfeel to the original.
Yes, it's very tasty. I've had dairy free, where I make bread that I don't have to, use dairy for. I happen to like almond milk. I don't need whole milk in anything at home. But for me, life is about the experiences and the health. So if I go somewhere into a new culture and something tastes good, I'm going to go ahead and experience it. If I don't like it, I can easily say no. If I know that if it's going to, like I said, kill me on sight, no. But if it tastes good, if it leaves me with a good memory, I'm going for it. Plenty of dairy-free experiences that really that really get expressed. And if you could do it with your friends and family and enjoy it, even better.
Okay. So you're all about the experience.
Absolutely.
As long as it doesn't kill you at first bite.
On site. It just don't kill. And the thing is, like I said, I still love the taste of barley. The barley was delicious, but why did it try to it was like, oh.
You know me. I'll be out here like, we still need to run some tests. We can't be out here
Well,
blaming.
listen, first of all, I don't know
No.
if you want to get into that conversation. We ran the test. We ran the test because I needed to understand.
Definitely allergic to barley.
It wasn't so much the barley as it was the process, because barley was processed at a certain plant.
Oh, so see now. See, this is a great conversation.
This is what
not-
it was.
Right,
The
so now
plant-
we're blaming a barley, but guys, we got to think about where these things are processed. So that's even
Right.
and I'm
All process.
teachable moment about oats. Just while you just brought that up.
Right. Yes. And see, I've had bread that has a little bit of barley in it, and it doesn't spike my blood pressure. But this plant also made apple juice. And whenever, and it said, it had a disclaimer, this is what we make in our plant. So if you get these in here, that kind of thing. And so when I read about, I had to do the research. I was like, why? But I don't understand. And it turns out that, of course, any plant that makes apple juice, they can't get all the seeds out. They try to core so that they can make fresh apple juice. But if some seeds get through, crushed apple seeds turn into arsenic. And so this machine that was making the apple juice, that was pressing, because that's how they were also processing the barley to press it and, put it into the form that it has. It was going through the same machine and picking up little amounts of arsenic.
That's horrible.
But this is what happens. This is all of us.
This is all of us. Yeah. Where does your food come from?
Right. But the thing is, some of us, I'm a walking litmus test. Like, some of us are just a little more sensitive to it. So my body just happened to be sensitive to the fact that there was just a little bit of arsenic where, this was processed through. And then when I looked, most plants that also process any type of barley, they pair it with other plants that process apples because it's the least amount of danger for the process, and they use the same machines. So they have their reasons for doing things the way that they do, and our bodies respond. It was just a warning. I tried to tell, another friend of mine had a kind of an allergic reaction to something the other day, and I say, allergic reactions are a blessing, depending on which one you have. And for me to eat that, and then my blood pressure spiked. I mean, it wasn't crazy, but it spiked enough for me to get a checkup. My body was like, listen, we just wanted to give you a nice little warning that you probably shouldn't do that no more. It wasn't.
But you have to know your body and pay attention. A lot of people aren't paying attention like that.
I pay attention, especially after that first cup of coffee, and people wanted to have me committed. So I said, I have to start paying attention.
You learned the lesson early.
You learn them as early as possible, and you write it down. I am a huge fan of, I know we're kind of like all over the place with this topic, but I'm a huge fan of family doctors. I remember when family doctors used to be with families for at least 5 generations. And if great-great-grandmother had a reaction to something, but everyone else didn't, and next thing you know, the great-great-granddaughter did, they could look in and go, oh, well, yeah, your great-great-grandmother had the same reaction. Let's look from this. So maybe you should stop eating this. So our responses to dairy, to whatever it is, first of all, I don't think it's going to happen to every generation.
Yes.
And second, it's good that we do have those reactions so that we can keep a history of what happens to us in order to catch it faster for the ones who are going to have some sort of reaction to, whether it's dairy, whether it's barley, no matter what it is, they'll be able to give it up faster and understand, yeah, that was a good flavor experience, but not a good health experience.
That's really a wonderful thing. And we are going to end on that note, because what you're saying is absolutely true. And people need to take that in and, pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body, because your body is telling you all the time what it needs and it doesn't need. But you have to be into it.
I think that you guys are doing this 30-day dairy-free challenge. I think it's excellent, and it's an excellent time to really tell your fans, watch and see how your body responds. Pay attention to your body and see what the changes are, so that it might even help you do dairy in more moderation if you plan on going back to it, or give it up altogether if it's really not working for you.
Yes, and thank you so much, Cynthia.
Yeah. Thanks, Cynthia, for joining us for the Easy Answer podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Like we said, we are having a 30-day non-dairy challenge coming up in September. So check out the comments and Instagram for the ways to register. If you have not already subscribed to the Easy Answer podcast, please do so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode that comes on. And as always, the Easy Answer podcast is here to help you have interesting conversations about food and find simple ways to stay healthy in this crazy world. So until next time, remember to stay easy. Later.
Bye.